how important is your college life in the success of somebody like you?
Colleges are useless. Whatever you learn in college, you can learn faster than I've hired MBAs in my companies, right? Pure idiots. India में 130 करोड़ की population, लेकिन काम के लोग दुनिया में 1.5 करोड़ भी नहीं है. My competition from the start has been IIM and IITs because they're doing bad to people.
The IITs and IIMs?
So the reason I'm saying so, if they were not, then why are people taking courses and why is training industry become an $8 billion industry?
We were just having a conversation off the set as well, and you were talking to me about your entrepreneurial journey, and you were giving me a little more insight on how you did, and I was very, very impressed by what you were saying. And one of the questions that kept coming into my mind was, how important is your college life, your college degree, in the success of somebody like you?
I have a very opposite take on this. I know your audience is college going, but I'll still say it. I think except networking, colleges are useless. And the reason I'm saying so is become a college dropout. Whatever you learn in college, you can learn faster than on YouTube, and I can prove that to you. So when I went to college, the college was Medicaps. I was doing a degree BCA, Bachelor of Computer Applications, and they're teaching me a language called as C. So after C, you learn C++. After that, you learn JavaScript and all, and then you come to Python and all, and you learn these languages. They were teaching me, like in 6 months, first semester, they taught me how to make a calculator and all this. I already was able to develop an app in my 12th class because of my coding skills. So I learned that from YouTube. Nobody told me that, right? So I'm seeing on YouTube, oh, write this, not working. Okay, let's go on GitHub, find this, not working. Okay, let's do something. And I'm figuring out things through which I was able to build that app. And now when I'm in college, they're teaching me just to make a calculator. I'm like, you took my 6 months and this much money and 8 hours a day to teach me how to build a calculator that I already know. Which is the point of, if I can learn that on YouTube, why do spend the time on the college? And college is useful only for one thing. It's called as networks. So if I'm a dropout, all the friends I have, one is a pilot, one is a co-founder of mine, one is a very big singer right now. And all other people that I found was one network only, which is helping me right now.
Correct.
Nothing that college taught me is helping me right now in my business. It's only about networks. It's not about the content or anything that they give.
True. True. And I also feel college does another harm to you. It makes learning negative. Like, because you're forced to study, you're pushed to sit down and do your exams in a certain way. Maybe you don't like the subject, maybe you don't like a certain chapter, but you're forced to do it. Now, what happens in the psychology of a kid is that he's putting negative affirmations to everything he's doing in terms of his career. So tell me, bro, like when you dropped out, you're from an Indian family and Indian parents are extremely sentimental about their kids doing at least a degree for them because that's like an insurance policy, it protects them. How was your mom and dad okay with the fact that you were able to drop out in a way that today you're a success story? But I'm sure your parents wanted proof, wanted concepts of success. What did you do?
So very, very good point that are your parents some god, angels, whatever the case is, that they let you drop out, and why are they not making anyone else in India do that? I'll tell you why that happens. First of all, they don't have bad intentions. It's the intention to save you from the world, right? So understand that they are not, so let's say you have a startup idea, you want to become that cool Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg thing. They actually want that for you, but they also know the bad side of it and want to protect you from that. So their intention is very good. Right? So they want to protect you from the world. That's the first thing you need to understand. Right? If you take them as your enemy, you cannot negotiate. You cannot negotiate with an enemy. You can negotiate with an ally. So if I'm negotiating with my parents, I cannot take them as enemies ki aap to mera bhala nahi chahte and all of that. But I can take them as allies ki, listen, let's come on the same side. Let's talk about this and let's negotiate on this.
Makes sense.
That's the first thing you need to understand. The second thing is, what has been your track record?
Yeah, I think this is the most important thing.
Right? Which is, if your track record has been that you have been found doing drugs, your friend circle was never good, you are never done good in school in any field, I'm not saying just academically, but culturally or socially or sports, anywhere. If it has been that you have been always the kid who's lazy, if your track record is like that, would you let your kid do the dropout?
Yeah.
That's the question you need to ask. And the only question was going in my head, if I had a kid, and this is in college first year, if I had a kid and he wants to drop out, what are the things I would look at? And I solved those 3-4 things, and I went to my parents and said, here's the thing, here's the whole scenario, let me know.
What concept of proof did you give them?
So the concept of proof was only 2 things. First, they want to see that whatever I'm learning in college is my time waste. That's the first thing I want to prove. Second, I want to prove is that if I drop out, what is the surety of my success of the career, right? Where I'm going. So the first thing I did was, because I already knew coding and all of that, I passed the exam of the college and was the person who broke the records in the history of the college in terms of marks. So my parents impressed. Lovely work, right? That's the first thing I did. Now you, as a watcher, the person would be like, Himanshu, I'm not that good at study or something. That's totally fine. Choose an area that you are, and you can beat anyone in that. Because if you can't, that means you're not focusing enough on the skills. It
Makes
can be
sense.
any skill in the world.
Correct.
And if you're not focusing enough, actually your parents are correct then. Sit in a college and do the work.
Yeah, because you don't have direction.
Exactly, right? But if you have the direction, if you are good at something, show it to them. Why would they not be impressed?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Right.
So tell me the next phase of the story, bro. What happened once you showed? What did you show them, and what happened after that?
Right. So, and the second thing I showed them is the money thing, because I was doing small businesses, side hustles and all these things, and I was collecting money. And I, at 18, my father gave me a loan of 12.5 lakhs as a gift, which is like, so you're 18, here's a gift that we have spent this much on your education till now, and here's a gift. So it's on me to clear the loan. Coming to that part, I've saved some money because I knew something like this is coming, because my father is not making that much, but I'm putting in a prestigious school. So there's something fishy. So all the side hustles, I'm keeping money aside, and I think I would have saved on 2.5 lakhs, something like that.
How, dude? Like 18, I was negotiating for 500 rupees with my grandfather. How did you manage to collect that 2.5 lakhs? Like, just a quick question.
So I'm a banya. So Banya are already known as, proper businessmen.
Gujaratis. Right? You guys from Gujarat?
So Gujaratis, Sindhis and Banyas. So I'm the third category is Banyas. Right? So they're already known as good businessmen and everything. And they're good at saving and all of those things. So my thing was that I always lived on low expenses because my family cannot ever made me live like that high expense person. You'd not believe, still in my company, my salary is around 25,000 a month. Crores of revenue, my salary is 25,000. It has never changed. It started from 6,000 a month in my company, then it went to 12, at it's 25. It has been 2.5 years. We're printing crores every month. It's still 25,000 a month. I don't take one penny above that because my expenses are still low. Right? Anything else I want can be done from the company, right? So I used to save a lot of money because I knew that a rainy day would come and I would need this money, or I would need this money to invest into something that I want to do. So I used to do freelancing. I used to teach my neighbor kids. I used to make so that time there was a concept of burning a CD, putting new songs and giving it that. So people used to play those CDs in their CPU and get some music. I used to take the CDs. They're like, new songs aa gaye, jaldi dal dena. Take those CDs, go to my father's shop, put one CD, load the song, delete the old one, give the CD back, and make 20 rupees, 40 rupees on that.
Wow.
I've done immense amount of business. I've done a cloth renting business. I've rented PlayStations, a number of businesses, which made me in, I think, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, saved me to 2.5 lakh rupees, right, at that age. So that was the money I collected, which I showed to my parents. And I had a SBI kiosk account. So for those who don't know kiosk, it's like SBI ki branch ke under ka branch hota hai, it's called the kiosk accounts. So it's like anybody can open an account. So I went chupchap se at the age of 18, I opened an account over there and I used to put money dhire. So you can save 100 rupees, you can save 200 rupees. It's basically for rural areas. But mere area mein galti se nahi bolunga, but it opened. So I'm like, oh, let me go. I opened the account because nobody knew that. Passbook is with me in my bag, school bag and everything. It's with me. I used to put little bit, and over time it compounded and became good.
Like, I feel no matter how much success we see right now, or you will see in the next 20 years, these moments, right, they are, I feel, not just golden moments, they are moments that made you who the hell you really are. Because if you, now you are a kid, you could have just gone straight ahead, spent that on, you could have bought the PlayStation for yourself, you could have gone, taken your friends for, maybe a lunch, or you could have done some 100 other things that most kids do. But these moments, I call it, the most memorable moments, and that money you've made now, you'll never treasure money like that ever.
Correct.
Like you'll go to your bank account, check what's there. Oh
Yes.
shit, I have 10,000 bucks. Wow,
Yes.
you'll feel great
Yes,
about it.
yes.
Also, tell me, what businesses do you run right now? What are the kind of numbers you're clocking in?
Okay, so I have 3 companies. One is a consulting company, one is a sales agency, and one is a software company. If you average out all the companies, we're doing around 2.5 crores revenue per month. We are doing approximately 50% profit on that numbers consistently. Sales agencies doing around 25 lakhs, 20 lakhs a month with again 60% profits because it's a done for you business. And the software company has just been started. 3 apps have been developed. One is a WhatsApp software, one is a Calendar competitor, Book My Mates, and one is LMS. So we have already built 3. We are on the next 5. It's a suit selling game. That's why I'm not started to sell it. I've got the proof of concept. People are buying it. They're paying me money, but I'm not scaling it because I want the 8 to be done and then sell it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, dude, like, if you have to make so much money, I'm also sure that you've lost money. Like, you can make big only if you lose big also. You need to have the appetite for those losses. Before you started this company and after you dropped out of college, walk me through the phase of these tough times that you had. Like, I mean, did you just get straight into entrepreneurship? Were you always in entrepreneurship? Or what was the story?
So I learned this concept of dropshipping. So there's a person named Ritoban. If you go on YouTube, I don't know if he still exists or not, but he has a playlist, how to dropship. I did that, I dropped out of college. I started a company, FameNick, then I started a company, FebHub. I did that. Then it's not only entrepreneurship, it's like I need to put money in my house. I need to put money in my food. Like there's multiple expenses coming. So what to do? So I also went to the corporate world. I did BPO, my calling that you do. I worked in PhonePe. I worked in Flipkart. Then I got a job in Amazon. And when I got a job in Amazon, my family is like damn happy. He bhai settled the banda, right? But I'm like, I don't want to do this. But those low moments are these only because I'm collecting money over there so I can start a business. Again failed, no problem. I'll do a job.
Himanshu, I have one question in between. Sorry to interrupt you. Like, this question came from the 18-year-old me. If you got in an Amazon, that's possibly one of the best companies in the world to work at, but you're a dropout. Now, this is for my audience. How can a dropout get one of the top highest paid jobs? What's your answer?
It's a game of experience and your track record again. So I'll give you an example. I worked in Teleperformance, I worked in PhonePe, and I worked in Flipkart. My salary grew 3 months consistently. Teleperformance overachieved. They shifted to PhonePe. PhonePe salary increased, overachieved again. They shifted to Flipkart, overachieved again. It's a track record. When I go for Amazon interview now, I show them, buddy, this is a track record. And they actually want the highest performance in their companies. So I just show them this is a track record. Secondly, don't look at what happened in my past because of the circumstances. If you want a story, I can give you, or else just test me out for a month. This is my best pitch. Test me out for a month. If you like it, let me know. And if you have that under say that I will deliver my fucking best, you will kill it in the marketplace. Because I'll tell you one thing, the generation that is coming out right now does not has courage, does not has that, because it's easy, like heck easy to become millionaire in today's age, like heck easy.
Would have been 10 times harder 20 years ago.
Exactly. So I have a saying, it's called as the new millionaire is a billionaire. Like millionaire is a joke right now. It's like billionaire is the new game, right? To get that done, people don't have courage. Like if I see my old friends or if I see, nahi hai yaar, matlab wo wali baat nahi hai. So I'm like, you can run over people if you are that customer obsessed and if you're like that hardworking, you can run over these people and like kill it in the marketplace.
Now let's get back to your story, right? In your story, you were also talking about how you landed the Amazon job, and what happened post that. Did you stick through the Amazon job?
So the moment I got the job, very boring work. You just get a laptop, you get a phone, and on the laptop a query would come. You will call the team member, be like, solve this query. This is the answer. Then a new query, this is the answer. And I'm like, how long would I do that? Like, it's a robotic job. I don't want to do this. And I said, listen, I want to quit. And they were like, you have got the best job and you're the youngest in the company. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't want to work. Maza nahi aa raha hai. So they're like, what is maza for you? I'm like, I like new challenges. This is not challenging for me anymore. So they're like, okay, we'll give you a bigger task. I'm like, cool. So they give me a new project and all of that. Completed in 20 days or something. I'm like, no, again boring. Same work. Give me something else. And they didn't have. So then I was like, I want to leave. But they'll, no, you're on a 6 month probation. You can't. After 6 months you can. I'm like, I can't be stuck for 4 months. Like, I want to be that free word. So I just printed a, sorry Amazon, but I got a, I made a certificate, fake certificate of cancer, and I sent to Amazon. I'm like, I got cancer. Bye-bye. And they can't do anything but it's a cancer. So yeah, I left the job.
You know, they say successful people have to be, they can't be normal people. There has to be something off about them.
So I didn't have any choice. I'm like, okay, cancer is the only way. I said them thyroid, I said them jaundice, they're not listening. I'm like, okay, cancer.
It sounded like what you order on a menu card. Ha bhaiya, ek idli vada, ha, it's not filling, ha, pura dosa set, dosa masala, give me everything. So bro, you also told me that, you know, for your Amazon job, you did have proof of concept. But what about your first job? What kind of proof of concept did you show to them?
So the company Teleperformance has a walk-in of 200 people a day. The walk-in interviews. Every single day 200 people go and give interviews.
The BPO?
The BPO.
Okay.
I also was one of them. I'm like, no job. I got to happen this person Rahul. He's like, I'm like, job कैसे लगती है? He's like, job कैसे लगती है मतलब? I'm like, job मतलब कैसे होता है मेरे को नहीं पता है. So he's like, resume बना. मतलब नहीं है मतलब resume नहीं बनाया कभी कैसे बना हमको दिखाया नहीं कॉलेज में कभी बनाना. So he's like, I'll send you my template, copy paste it. I did the whole thing. I copy pasted it. He's like, ये building है, go in, say I want to give interview. They'll wait you for half an hour. Someone will ask questions to you, give whatever you know. I'm like, cool. I went over there. The person, after half an hour, the person went for the interview and he's like, how's your English? I'm like, how would I tell by speaking it? Ask me questions, I can tell about that. He's like, cool. What has been your past? I'm like, this. And he's like, you speak fluently. I'm like, yes. He's like, can you improve on your communication in the next 15 days? I'm like, I can, but if I have a reward for it. And the person is like, cool, we'll start your training program. I'm like, done, thank you, job done. It's a 10,000-12,000 rupees job which anyone can get if you have good English, right? Even if Hindi BPOs are there, they give you 8,000 ka job. It's not more about the first moment that you get, it's more about how much you utilize the first thing. Like everyone in the training room knew that Himanshu has come.
Got it.
Everyone knows Himanshu, Himanshu knows everyone. All the TLs of different departments also knows Himanshu because I'm going and talking to them. Sir, आप यहाँ पे कैसे पहुँचे? आपने कैसे किया? I'm talking to everyone every single day. Right? Sir, आपको यहाँ जाना, can I leave you? I want half an hour of the sir because I want to know what he know that I don't know. Right? It's the curiosity factor that you have which gets you escalate. And the first moment is like very small. For example, if I ask you, how did you got your first client? There would be maximum 2-3 answers. First, I work for free. Got some testimonials. I think the free one is your answer, right? Second would be I charge so low that the person cannot say no, right? The third one would be it was my family member and work for them. It was not the first deal that you got. It is what about what you performed at that deal so that you got the second deal.
Perfect. I think that makes a lot of sense. I also feel when you're starting off, you can't have your job as your dream job. Your dream job, you have to get there.
Correct.
Right? And I, you know, that's what James Clear in his book, The Atomic Habits, he also says that, right? If you want an achievable goal, keep it small, keep it simple and easy to achieve. Then you will actually make it. And I think for me, your story was just the summary of that, because if you aimed for an Amazon, initially you might have not gotten the chance.
That would also let my confidence to go low.
Go low, yes.
Yes.
You started with BPO, then went to PhonePe, and then you jumped on to Amazon eventually.
Correct.
Now, bro, tell me the transition from the Amazon part. Like you spoke about drop shipping, and you told me about you went through that course and all of that. Did you make money through drop shipping, and how did that propel you to start your own company?
So that time dropshipping was a very good model because no competition, ad spend, CPMs were low, all these things were there. I saw this person on YouTube, Retoban, full playlist, how to dropship 0 to start. I'm like, very excellent work, no problem. As he did, I just copied, paste, copy, paste. And after 1 month, something, I started making like around 8,000, and the second month I started making 18-20,000 a month. The point of inflection for me was not that 18-20,000 because, so it was also because I saw that internet can make me money like this, all of that. But the bigger inflection was when I got 2 guys, Pranay and Satyam, come to me and be like normal friends as talk, right? So we are standing on a bridge and we are talking normally and they're like, yaar tera Amazon mein job log gaya. I'm like, yeah, boring hai bhai, doesn't make sense, all of that. He's like, what else are you doing? I'm like, I have an agency wala. Bole, wo to hamari bhi hai. I do graphic. This person does this. You do this. I'm like, how? Everyone does as a freelancer and all of that. And then I'm like, you know, I've learned this new thing, dropshipping. He's like, how much are you making? I'm like, 18,000. He's like, how? I'm like, so what happens is, China se America product goes, you keep a commission. He's like, but that would take too much capital. I'm like, no, you can do it for free. And they're like, what are you talking? They're like, it's above their head. And at that time, they're like, would you teach us? I'm like, yeah. As friends, yeah. And then he asked the question, I still remember the line. How much would you charge? And I literally got blank for 2 minutes. And they were also seeing me, ki bol kyun nahi raha hai? But the thought that was going in my head was, I can charge for this. And he's correct. I have a knowledge, I have a skill, I have something that is valuable to the society, and I can charge for it to teach it. And I'm like, I'll charge 5,000. And he's like, per person or both? And in this confidence, I'm like, per person. He's like, cool. And he literally took out like 500K 2 notes, and he paid me. He's like, ये advance कल से हम आ जाएंगे and we'll pay you. And I got 1,000 in my hand. I'm like, I work 3 hours a day for a month to make 18,000.
Yeah.
I literally make 10,000 profit right now, and I'll put 6 hours. That's it. And I can do that not for do it 2 but 200. So I'm like, this is highly scalable, highly profitable. Margins are good, and I like this. I literally teach a lot of people. I used to teach neighbor ke kids and all of that. So I'm like, this is really good. I started teaching them. Like, so my thing was, so Amazon job, right? Agency work, and then raat ko 10 o'clock I used to go in his home because he had a flat. He used to live away from his parents, so he used to have a flat. I bought a whiteboard, 800 rupees ka. We put over there. We sit in the room. We write on the whiteboard. I teach them from night ka 10 to morning ka 2, 3, right? Then again the job starts, Amazon ka. After 4 hours of sleep, again the job starts. And I did that for like, I don't know, 14 days, 15 days. But I was okay with that. And again, it's a sacrifice, as you said. You know, what are the hard struggles you see? This is the struggle. You can't have sleep. You are tired. Your brain does not work properly in those times. But that is totally fine because it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term goal that you're having.
Makes sense.
So I did that, taught them, and I got my 10,000. And then I was like, let's think about this. If I get 20 people, I literally make a lakh. And lakh was the whole thing I was making from Amazon, agency, dropshipping, all calculated. I'm like, just 20 people. I already got 2. Just 18 left. Yeah. If I get 18 people to 5,000, it's a lakh. And that's where the point came where it was like just a change.
Awesome, man. I think everybody has that aha moment, right? Like that moment where your brain just goes off and opens up this eureka moment, opens up a portal to possibilities that you've never thought of, and it only seems like a dream. Like you're like, this much success also I don't deserve sometimes, you know? Yeah, like, I mean, I get it. Then how did you convert this into a successful business, Himanshu? Because now...
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So, the moment this happened, I'm like, let me try. Then I got for more students, but I did not got. I'm like, problem kya hai? Why are no more new people coming? Right? And the problem was 3 things. Trust, credibility, and my sales process. So now I'm going and pitching. Earlier I was showing I'm making money and people are coming. It's a difference.
Yeah.
This time I'm an expert, that time I'm a salesman. These 2 people know me from 1 year. Trust. And third, they can see my bank account and see me spending money with credibility. I didn't had those. So then I went into this Pranay guy was working under a person, his name was Jitesh Manwani. He was a business coach in Indore. That time doing 1.5 to 2 lakhs a month, right? I may be wrong, but approximately this much. So Pranay is like, you have skills, very good skills. I'll make you meet Jitesh sir. Okay, I'll meet Jitesh sir. I still remember I was shivering while I was sitting in his office. Why? Because it was heavy rain, but I promised him I'll reach at 5 o'clock. So I went out from my house, I had a 2-wheeler. I got out of my house, heavy rain, but I promised the person, so I'll reach. Again, the habit of commitment from the start, which is helping me right now. I went over there, so his AC was naturally on. I came in, I was shivering, he just switched off the AC, gave me towel and all. And I'm fully wet. He's like, why didn't you just cancel and call? I'm like, because I gave you a commitment. And I'm not the person who breaks a commitment. If I've given you this, then I'll be there at this because I am a person who likes to keep his word. And he was impressed by this. He's like, what's your plan? So I showed him Pixel, Facebook ads on his whiteboard, small wala. I showed him everything and he was impressed. He's like, cool, you want to work? I'm like, yes. He's like, I can't pay you much. I'm like, I'll work for free. The reason was, Pranay told me, this person has made 3 lakh rupees in 6 hours. I'm like, मैंने अभी 1 लाख का कैलकुलेशन पर मंथ का किया. You're saying 3 lakhs in 6 hours, like per day? He's like, yes. I'm like, how? He's like, 3 people paid him ₹1,00,000 out of 20. Why would someone pay you ₹1,00,000? He's like, to grow his business from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs. I'm like, oh, this is bigger now. So it's about, I'm teaching people how to make 20,000, I can charge 5,000. If I can teach people how to make 20 lakhs, I can charge a lakh, 2 lakh.
For that, but you have to make that money first.
Exactly. Obviously, the credibility, the trust, everything matters, right? So now 2 things came into my mind. First of all, this person is a business coach. That means he understands business better than business owner. If I learn from him, I would be the best at business. I know this, first of all, right? अब वो कितनी भी level पे हो, but I'll be better at business because he would work with a process and a system. This person is running haywire business. चल गया बस वैसा वाला business. That was the first reason. Second was, if this person has made 3 lakh in 6 hours, if even I can make 3,000 every day, it is 190,000. I was the worst case scenario, 1% of this person, right? That's the second thing I did. And the third thing that happened was कि I'll get, so all the employees over there or team members of his were of my age. And they all were very hungry, ambitious, doing multiple startups and high side hustles. And they're all like me. I'm like vibing with everyone, right? So that was a point of me where I was like, ki, lovely work. I get the environment, I get the coach, and I get the network of the coach as well to play with. So I joined him. He said 6,000 rupees a month. I'm like, done. I joined him. 6,000 rupees a month he used to pay me. 12 hours, 14 hours working. सुबह 8 बजे I used to reach office. रात को 10 बजे 11 बजे leave. I've done 800 calls a day, cold calls. I've done warm calls. I have done cold emailing, copywriting, landing page building, website building, Facebook ads, anything that you can imagine in the world that you need to run a direct response business. I've done all of that. And we took his business from 1.5 lakhs to, if I'm not wrong, 4-5 lakhs. And I was the person who was earning the most. So if you take all the team members one side, and if you take me, if you combine the total money they make into 2, I was making alone that much. While I started with 6,000. So again, it's not about the opportunity that you get, it's about how much you perform in the opportunity. The same thing we're talking about.
Bro, like I have a question here now. Now talk to me about scale, right? Now you were talking about, what do you say, dreaming to scale, right? Now tell me, how did you actually do it? Because it's not easy for people to go from 30K to 30 lakhs like that. But you are telling me you actually can. But I think you actually can when you have experience. So tell me the value of this experience that you had. What was the learning and how did you actually make the plunge to the big numbers?
So now we get in the advanced things, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that people call. I'll give you a simple answer to this. There are 3 answers. The first approach to this is who is with you to get that result. For example, recently a friend of mine came, he's like, I want to open a pharmaceutical company, this, we'll sell a medicine, and if we create a brand like Saraton, we can make this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who is the person who has done that? And he's like, I'm going to for the first time. I'm like, that's a problem. To understand the whole system, you will take these many years, forget about scale. Right? So it's a hit and try method that you're doing. So the first thing is who is with you, right? So I have been always surrounded myself by experts, either by paying them, either by doing work for them, either by a barter, something like that, right? So I've been always around experts. That's the first thing. The second thing for scale is, the most important part is proof of concept, right? If you crack the proof of concept of a viral reel, you can scale it. Now you post 60 reels or 600, but you know how to make a viral reel.
Correct.
Most people do not focus enough on creating that one viral reel. I made focus on how can I sell a 10,000 product at a conversion rate that no one would believe. Then I'm like, how can I sell a 20,000 product at a conversion rate that no one believe? Once I touched those numbers, it's a proof of concept. That a concept that was impossible, I had a proof of that, I've done this. And once I have POC, I can build upon POC. And that's scale, right? So I'll give you an example. If I have a webinar, which is converting at 12% for a 10,000 product, I have a POC. Now it's all about putting more people into the webinar. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And if I have a best expert of Facebook ads sitting with me, what to care about?
Correct. I mean, now he exactly knows where to get your audience from, and you just have to build a great product and just keep improvising.
Exactly.
And then once after a certain point, that product is on itself, right? You don't even need interference.
Exactly, because you gave the momentum. So if you see a plane, if the plane is going like this, and I turn off the engine, would it go like this? No, it would glide.
Correct.
Because it's in momentum.
Correct.
So the thing of momentum makes things go forward even if you don't put pressure on them.
Correct. I think that's a great analogy, and I feel all of these things now, they're so valuable, and they should be taught at college. And today I feel the college system, the education system is so obsolete, like so obsolete. And for somebody from a dropout, I know you're going to be very one-sided on this, but I definitely want to know the one-sidedness of this. Tell me a few problems that you see with the current education system. What do you think are the biggest problems you see?
Practicality.
Okay. Practicality in the sense what you learn to what you apply?
Yeah. So I've hired MBAs in my companies, right? Pure idiots. Not everyone, but not competent, I would say, right? जैसे I was seeing Ashni Grover, I think a talk, and he was saying कि इंडिया में 130 करोड़ की population है, लेकिन काम के लोग ढूंढने को 1.5 करोड़ भी नहीं है, which is very true because I've tried to find. If I ask you right now, you're on a podcast. Here's the thing I can predict in your business. You're struggling to find a good video editor. Am I right or wrong?
In my business, yeah.
A video editor.
Yeah.
You're struggling. How would I know that? It's because I know video editors का कमी है market में. They are not good video editors. Or if they are, they leave the job in 2 months, or they charge very high, which is obnoxious amounts. How would I know that? Right? Because I understand that video editors को वो where in the whole education system video editing is taught.
Nowhere.
There's agencies like Mac and Arena 3D whatever. They teach video editing. So it's like private छोटे schools. At least video editors are coming out because of that, and we can run our businesses because of that. Else, how would we do that? Imagine that.
Correct.
Right? So it's a practicality game. Imagine you, instead of doing a 4-year MBA or BBA, whatever it is, you do a 4-month course which solves this particular specific problem with a special knowledge. So instead of a general knowledge that this is this, you have a special knowledge. For example, if I want to do a podcast, I come to Lalith, I be like, Lalith, can you teach me this podcast thing? Lalith be like, 2 months course, this is how it does. A to Z, everything I've covered. I'm like, good. I do that in 2 months. Now I can become a podcaster who can make money, live good, be happy. And in 2 months, not in 2 years.
But here's my take on what you just said. I think specialization makes you money, but to become a specialist, you have to be a generalist.
Correct.
Right? What do you think about
It's
it?
a T-shaped career. So it's a T-shaped career that makes you successful. I'm a T-shaped career. Everyone in my company who has the leadership position are T-shaped careers. I don't hire only verticals. I don't hire only horizontals. Only horizontal is like labor. बेटा चाय ले आओ, पानी ले आओ, ये कर दो, वो कर दो, आज उसको ये दे के आना है. Lot of work, right? Specialist is like, I know coding only. Again, a problem. You can't sell money. You cannot hire a team. You are not a good leader. You're just a coder. You need to become 2. So you're horizontal. That means if you ask me, is camera ka iOS बढ़ाना? I know that because I've done it one time when I was shooting ads. Now I don't do it. If you ask me कि road mic में हमें दोनों connect करना, I know how to do it. If you ask me कि script लिखना, I know how to do it. If you ask me how to make a landing page, I know it. I'm a generalist. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I know it. And then I'm very good at 1 or 2 things. That is sales and consulting. I know I can beat anyone you bring. Right? So it's a T-shaped career that actually creates a beautiful career out of yours because nobody can make you fool out of. Why you become a journalist? Because nobody can make you fool out of. If I'm standing over here and I'm saying the photographer, good photos are not coming, he cannot be like कि हाँ वो इसमें ऐसा होगा because lighting नहीं है. I will be like आयो से बड़ा because I know how it works. So he would not make me a fool.
Correct.
The reason you become a specialist is because you can charge higher and become a real expert in that.
Nice. And success is also like that, right? There's a very common graph that goes on. So success is like that, and then you go boom. So tell me this way, bro. Like you're telling me that the education system has these flaws. It's not teaching you the right kind of things that you require. Then are you trying to fill the gap?
That would be a very big thing to say, that I'm trying to fill the gap. But what I'm trying to do is trying to introduce practicality into the system where it's not about playing for 4 years and trying to rip off the student by making money of him, because the college is not making money, is already making money on the degree, but the college is making money on your bus service, on your mess, all these things, right? Which is a bigger revenue model that you don't understand. Right? Because if you're charging, let's say 12,000 rupees a year for your bus service or something, in 4 years that's 50,000 rupees that you have paid, which is extra money to the college. So it's a like whole ecosystem that they've created, right? Then you're paying for extracurricular activities and then college events and all of that. Actually, you don't want that. You just want to learn a skill which you can monetize so that you can be happy.
Quick action steps.
Exactly. So what school and colleges teach us is called as skill market approach, which is learn this, which is coding, computer applications, BB, MB, whatever, learn this, done. Now go and find a job. So this is skill market approach. What I teach is market skill approach. Go to the market, find what you like, whom you like to talk, whom you like to take money from, how much money you want to make, talk to the market, go in market, find your niche, your message, whom you want to talk to, your hypothesis. Once you know, for example, Lalith knows, I want to talk to good businessmen and good people in the industry, whom I want to do networking with over a podcast. Lalith got to know that. Now Lalith start to build a skill, which is podcasting, which is communication, which is networking, which is cold outreaching. So now he finds a problem in the marketplace and identifies this is what I would like, and then builds a skill on that. So it's called as market to skill approach. I think if that just inverses, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and I think this is so tailor-made, right? It's the niche to your specific skill set to the requirement of the market, and everything else is bullshit. Everything else is fluff. So that could be thrown out. So, bro, now you're also in the coaching industry for just the last 2.5 years, and you've had good success rates, right? What are some of, rather than saying what are some of the, I would ask, who are your biggest competitors when it comes to your coaching industry? Because there's everybody in every state doing coaching today. If you have a room and a laptop, you're a coach. You could simply do that. You need a little bit of capital to run ads and you're game on. But who's your biggest competition?
Normally, if you ask that to any coach or consultant that I have heard till now, they would say X, Y, Z, coach, whatever, right? My competition from the start has been IIM and IITs.
Why?
It's because, first of all, like मैंने एक line सुनी थी, it's in Hindi, which is like एक इंसान की औकात उसके दुश्मन से समझ में आती है. पहली. The second thing is, I'm a person who is like, either I'll destroy the biggest and the most competent, तभी मुझे खेलने मजा आए, but it's a potential game now. It's not money, it's not anything else. It's a potential game now. Or else I don't want to play. Right? If you are go to conquer, like burn the boats wala game. Go to conquer or don't play the game. Right? If you want to go in football, try to become the Ronaldo or don't. Like don't play. Don't just play for the hobby thing. Oh, I'm doing this. You'll never reach somewhere in your life. Right? If you are sitting over here and you are having a podcast, you need to look at the biggest one and be like, this.
Yeah.
Right? Then only you will have that fire, hunger and motivation and discipline and whatever people call to reach over there, because now it's a big vision. And if that vision comes true, you'll not believe that you have done it. So that would motivate you even further. Right? The second thing, the contrary thing to that would be that with the competition side, it is more of why that competition, the answer of that why that competition would be because they're doing bad to people.
The IITs and IIMs?
The reason I'm saying so, if they were not, then why are people taking courses and why is training industry become an $8 billion industry? Because this industry is not like 100 years back. Just recently came. In India, it's an $8 billion industry. How is it becoming? If they are providing the highest level service, how can new players make money? It's like saying, if Apple is providing the best phones, new companies would make a little bit of money and go, but they can't never reach like 50% of this, which is actually true because they're giving service. The day Apple products are not that good, new things would be coming out, obviously. So if they are giving those results and people go job and businesses and all of that, why is this thing growing faster? And why are dropouts becoming more successful?
More successful, yes.
Right? Because आप तो बोल रहे हो यही है, then why is this thing working?
Very interesting. So tell me, bro, now as you've been working with people in this vision of yours, what are some of the success stories that you look at and feel almost like a Chanakya, right? You look at it and say, listen, the greatest emperor warded off the greatest ruler of all time and I made him do it. So I feel, apart from the pride feeling, just being a teacher, it adds so much good karma, good blessings, good deeds and successes on your role. So what's your journey making people win this way?
The thing of Chanakya, I'm a very big fan of Chanakya. Read books, understood things about him and everything. So I'm a very big fan of Chanakya. And I think the reason I'm so blunt with people is because I've learned that from Chanakya thing only, which is like you don't want a 1,000 normal students, you want one Chandragupta.
Yeah.
And then one Chandragupta can create a full Maurya dynasty.
Yes.
Right? So that's where I come in, and that's why I charge high ticket. There are multiple models of this. Obviously, I capitalize on it. I'm not saying I do it for free to create next Maurya dynasty. I don't want to do that. Mine is a different vision, right? I want to create multiple teachers who teach multiple people. So it's a compounding effect. And if you call any team member, investor, vendor, any of mine, and you ask what's Himanshu's vision, they all would have one answer: $5 trillion economy of India. And the reason I went on this vision was because if I can take a business coach from 1.5 lakh to 3 lakh, 4 lakhs, that means he can impact more students. He has more business owners as his students. Those business owners are growing their businesses. If I create 10,000 business coaches like this, what would happen that time? If I can create 10,000 life coaches like this, what would happen? If I can create 10,000 fitness experts like this, what would happen? If I can create 10,000 knowledge givers like this, what would happen? That was the question of mine. And like now it is a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Because me impacting that person, impacting thousands of others is a ripple effect to me and a good karma for me at the end. Revenue wise, profit wise, jata rehta hai, like not a big deal. Because after some time you are like, mera bank account tab bhar chuka hai. Whatever is coming over that is just a over the top thing.
Yeah.
So I don't care about it. Like if your bank account has 6 crores, you'd be like, what if happens if 8 crores come? Nothing, because I can't spend 6 only, forget about 8. Right? So it's not anyway becomes about the money. But yeah, the game is to first of all change the coaching industry ka pattern, which I have seen, and I surely believe I can do that, so that we can get new way of coaching people and new way of curriculums and everything, so that people can get results, and then get this to a bigger level in education. Right? I'll give you a best example. If a nurse wants to do a job in US, because nurses are paid very badly in India, correct? They are paid 12-15,000. And they have 14 or 15-hour shifts, and they can be called anytime at the hospital, right? Worst case scenarios. In US, it's a very good system for nurses. They get paid heavily. They have like 4 or 5 of patients. In India, one nurse takes 40 patients. In US, 6. It's like a study, something like this. Now it's a big problem. Nurses are not aware and educated. I'll tell you about my client. His name is Aman Jha. Came to me when he was at 40,000 a month. Right now does 18 lakhs a month. His company is thelanguagex.com. So for the watchers, proof. thelanguagex.com. He's doing right now 18 lakhs, 19 lakhs a month. He was the shortest in the industry. Today he's the highest charging candidate of the whole industry. And he helps nurses to get placed in US. He charges them only 25,000. He gives them a course. They complete the English training exam. They give an exam of OET. They clear the exam. They get placed in Canada, Australia, all these places. They get a higher salary, their family is happy, their kid will now study in US and places, and their whole hierarchy is changed.
Wow.
Right? Aman is making money, he's happy. I'm happy because my student is doing success, and nurses are happy because they're getting the result. Now, would IITs, IIMs and the college would look at the nurse and help her? Never. Because the nurse never has a paying capacity. It is not about they cannot help, they can. But they will not, because the nurse does not have the paying capacity to those institutions.
100%.
That's when the vision came of $5 trillion economy, because I think India can truly become a $5 trillion economy. We have those skills, we have those knowledge, and we have been one of the richest in the past, right? So it's like, it's not a big deal to copy and paste. It's just that the mentality of the nation has gone down because of the past we had. But again, how do we look at the opportunity? That's what the game is. So that being said, I get that feeling of the teacher where you feel proud that your student has done that much, but I used to attach myself to that, now I don't.
Why?
And the reason I don't do that is because if I put my self-esteem or ego or whatever you call on a student, then it's an external based thing I'm playing. And when I'm playing that, one day if he doesn't get result, I am sad. This is technically wrong, because I should be neutral on both the cases.
Correct. Because you're a teacher.
If I really want to consult a person, I need to be neutral. It's like if I'm consulting you, your business, and if you go like, abhi 12 baj gaye business ki, all of that, and I also go like, oh shit, we both are not on the same page, because then I can play the consultant role. I need to be like, Lalith, no problem, this happens. I've gone through this. We'll do this. Now you'll feel more calm. You're like, oh, I have a calm person with me. Some days your business will go skyrocket. You'll like, oh, I've printed crores. This is this. And I'll be like, Lalith, be calm. This time would also go. So I need to be that consultant, right? So earlier I used to do that, now I don't, because that's external validation for me, which I don't want. I want internal validation. I know who I am, and I can approve of myself that I've done good work or not.
Correct. Like you said, when you start validating it, that means you're actually taking the numbers too seriously. And that seriousness is you're zoomed in to the whole process. But what you're doing is you're zooming out and you're saying, how can I give this guy a perspective that he's not thought about? How can I attack this problem in a way that he need not even think in that? I think those are extremely good, wise words, man. So also do share, like you gave me an example of Aman. Also share a few more examples because our viewers might be very interested to dream the dreams that you are dreaming or to aspire to work with somebody like this. Also share some of the success stories you've had in terms of your students and what kind of products are they building, what kind of money are they making.
I'll give you just one gist. Anyone you see in the coaching industry, like 80% of them who are making good money are my clients. They're NDA signed, so I cannot take names, but 80% of them are my clients. I've consulted them somewhere, maybe for webinar, email, sales, anything can be, but I've consulted 80% of the coaching industry who are making good money. I don't consult people who are below 5 lakhs per month, so that's another thing. But who are above 5 lakhs, because it's value for my time, I've consulted like technically everybody, right? Said that, talking about students, like I can give you immense case studies. Let's take one by one in different niches. Let's say someone is starting who is a 19-year-old kid, 18-year-old, he wants to make money, right? First step, pick a market that you want to enter, you would love the people over there. Second, pick a skill that would be solving a problem in that market, learn that skill to the T and sell that skill. Simple. I'll give you an example. So there's a student, Sai Siddharth, came to me when he was doing his internship of 17,000 a month, very afraid to even stop the internship. It has been 1.5 years, if I'm not wrong. Today he owns a Lambo. To get a Lambo in India, he has a Lambo Spider, Lamborghini Spider. To get a Lambo in India, imagine the amount of, in 1 year, 1.5 years, how much new patterns of thinking it would take. Right? I'll give you another example. There is a student of mine, his name is Jit Shah. He came to me in September last year, right? 5 months till now. He came at 25 lakhs a month, 20 lakhs a month. Today he does 1.5 crores a month. Right? Age 22.
He was on my podcast.
He was on your podcast?
Yeah, he was one of my initial guests. I met him in Mumbai. Right? So I know Jeet.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, a student of mine. I have another student, her name is Yashika. So she came at, I think when she was doing 90K a month. It has been 1.5 months. Right now she is doing profit around 8 lakhs a month.
Okay. Now I have a question, bro. I'm a coach, right? I just told you I'm going to start my online vertical. Now, if I have to get your service, so do I have to get into your funnel in terms of going and doing your course, or do you offer consultancy services or the other side?
We have 3 services, done for you, do it yourself and do it together.
Okay.
So done for you is like, we'll do the whole work, we'll build the funnel, we'll build the email, we'll do the webinar, we'll do everything for you. You just do the thing where you need to show your face. That's a done for you side.
Okay.
Most people don't go for this because it's very high priced, right? So most
like
people
what
don't
would be
go
the
for this.
price range?
6-7 lakhs.
Okay.
One time cost, right? To get the whole setup done.
Okay.
Email, webinar, everything, right? People have paid this amount, not a big problem. And not one people, but I think I've got 70 clients by now for this service only. But it's a very high price thing. I don't pitch it to everyone. The second one is do it together, which is like, Lalith bhai, you do this work, which is your expertise. This is my expertise, let me do it. For example, creating a webinar slides, making your email copy, writing your ad script. This is my work, let me do it. You are good at understanding your audience, understanding your product, mind mapping your everything. Do that, I'll do this, do it together. Right? So I do this, you do this, we negotiate on this, then we set on a thing and we start. And the last is do it yourself, which is I teach, you do. Right? And in I teach, you do, we have 2 models. One is recorded, one is live. So recorded is where you want a recorded course. I want to see it myself, aram se. It's not a very urgent and big problem for me. I want to do webinars, I'll do after a year, 6 months, whatever. Give me a course, I'll learn myself. Cool. We have this, which is like 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 prices, right? Second is live. Live is like, Himanshu, every week, give me a task, make me accountable, teach me live, right? For that thing, we charge 2.19 lakhs plus GST right now. April, we will going to do it 3 lakhs plus GST. I'm saying because we have already planned it. So it was 2.19 that we charge, and the record I have in the industry that people are talking about right now is 4 crores in 3 hours, right? That's the record of the 2.19 lakhs because 156 people paid me 2.19 plus GST in a 3-hour webinar, right? So that brings me to a profit of 4 crores because this audience was organic, right? And this is life, which we teach to get your thing sorted as a 6-month program. From 0 to 6 figures will get you in 6 months. If you don't get to 6 figures, your money is back. Thank you so much for coming. Simple, right? And then we have do it together, and then we have done for you. So we have these 3 models. Whichever the person suits for, he can go for that. Earlier, I only had the high expensive things, but then I realized a lot of majority of population wants to get the thing, but actually does not have the paying capacity. Then we get these multiple streams where you can have multiple things. From 9 rupees thing, we have like 9 lakh ka thing. You can choose anywhere in between, and everything is like an escalation. So if you pay 9 rupees, I just want you to make 100 rupees, so that you can pay me 100 to make 1000, we can pay me 1000 to make 10,000. It's not like you pay me 9, now you have to pay 500 to get the result. It's like whatever amount you pay, you get actual value of that so that you can get to next. For example, 2.19 ke baad, you pay me 5 lakhs for the next thing. It's not 2.19 diya to 5 do. When you make 4.2, that is double of that 4.4, then I'll talk about this, or I'll not even talk about this because you're not about this result only. So my escalation system is so transparent that people really want to escalate. They ask me what is your upsell. I'm like, why do you want to know? Kya ho jayega? I'll tell you the upsell, but what will happen? Focus on this, get the result, I'll automatically tell you that. Plus at the topmost level, I only want people I like your Chandragupta, as you said, right? I don't want everyone to be teaching. I want my Chandragupts who are like, I know this person, I can train him, I can get him done, and he'll reach to that level because he has that thing that I can see.
So I want to know, one of your biggest success stories is the fact that you were able to make 4 crores in 3 hours, which is ridiculous amounts of money at very less amount of time. Can you give me a little bit of backstory on how this happened?
Yeah. So, by the way, for all the people who are listening, it's not 4 crores revenue, it's 4 crores profit.
4 crores profit.
Right? So, it's like that's money is in the account pre-tax. Now, obviously, it's a 25-day, 30-day game we played to get that thing done. ऐसा नहीं कि if I'm saying 3 hours, so 3 hours में magic and I can do again and again every 3 hours. Obviously, it takes some practice, it takes some effort, it takes some preparation to get to that stage. I think it would be a 25-day, 20-day marathon where like every week we are doing something, and then we did that in a 3-day event. On the third day it was a 3-hour event, and in 3 hours I sold a program of 2.19 lakhs plus GST, and I think 165 people bought, something like that. So it's 3.9 crores, 3.8 crores, which I'd say 4 crores something. Some people paid EMI and all of that. So it would be around 4 crores that we made in 3 hours. Now, how did we do that, and how can someone else also replicate? That would be the question. The question is simple. First, you need a high ticket product. Second, you need a very, 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 very big problem in the marketplace. Third, the problem should be urgent.
Immediate.
So it should not be like, oh, this problem is going to come after 6 years. Nah, nobody cares. Nobody is going to pay you like lakhs for that, right? Unless the problem is very big. For example, 6 years baad I am going to have cancer. Now I'll pay lakhs. Either the magnitude of the problem would be higher or the urgency of the problem would be higher. For example, मेरा पाँव कट गया यहीं पे. It's an urgent problem.
Yeah, you have to fix it.
Right? I need to fix it. Bali, I've got a cut from just iron, but tetanus injection I want right now. Right? That's an urgent thing. Second is how massive is the problem. So massive problem can be like, it's after 2 years, but you're going to get a heart attack. I'm like, tell me the amount. Right? Now, when these 3 characteristics meet, you can actually create something what I call as a high ticket offer. Now, your high ticket offer should also be a grand slam offer. What's a grand slam offer? If someone sees that offer, he cannot refuse. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? I'll give you my offer, and the listeners can put down in the comments. The offer is, you pay me 2.19 lakhs plus GST. I'll teach you how to monetize your skills. In next 6 months, you'll make double of that. You'll be able to quit your job as well, and you'll work 4 days a week. If that does not happen, I'll give you your money as it is back, signed on a term sheet. Refuse that.
Wow, man. I mean, I think you have to solve specific problems. And if society is unable, I mean, I think this is Naval Ravikant's statement, right? And he's one of the most smartest people I've known. He says, if you can solve society's problem that it can't solve for itself, you make shitloads of money. Yeah. And essentially, that's precisely what you're saying.
When you can give to society what it wants, and it does not know how to get, you make a lot of money.
You make a lot of money. How are you able to sit in this podcast, have a chat, while there are 3 companies with over 100 employees in each, functioning without you?
The answer is one thing, which is automation. And automation has two parts, technical and manual. Technical automation is you have enabled technology on such levels that without you putting the work, it would be done. For example, right now, I'll send you a screenshot of this time only. While we are having a talk, I would have minimum got 220 customers. And you'd not believe this, you're like, but we were chatting, right? I'm not doing any work. But we got 220 customers, and I'll show you proof of screenshot which watchers can have a look on. So that's technical. Now imagine if 220 people paid, they need to get access, they need to be sent reminders, they need to be sent an email, a WhatsApp and everything. That's your technical automation part. Most people stuck at this because they think it's coding and it's some big stuff. No, it's not. Go to YouTube and search how to automate payments, how to automate invoice, how to automate sheets, and you will see a 5-minute video, replicate it click by click. Obviously, you will take half an hour for the first one, but next time 25, then 20, then 15, right, which will free up your time. The second thing is manual automation. How do you manually sit with people, create a culture where people trust each other and their decisions, and run a company with a common vision. So my work is to give a vision, and the vision is to $5 trillion economy. Now the vision comes with the mission. What are we planning for the next 5 years? That's a mission. Now comes goals. What's our 2-year goal, 1-year goal, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, right? Once that is done, our daily task comes because we have a daily goal. So daily goal, daily task. I want 1,200 customers today. To get 1,200 customers, how many ad spend? How much funnels? How many ads? What should be the CPA? All these things matter. So now it's a daily task. So now I know what to do for the day, right? So this is how it's done. Now team gets clarity. Oh, यहाँ जा रहे हैं हम. This is what the plan looks like. It may change in between, obviously, but they at least have a clarity. Okay, this is where we are going. Talking about freedom, 95%, it will be a dream for 95%. Let me tell you why. Because they want to have $1 billion in bank account, be the bop of their industry and still get freedom. Not possible. You think Elon must sit like this? No. It depends on person to person what you want as a person, right? I know a figure in my mind which is like, if I reach this much bank account, I'm sorry. Like, iske baad, I don't care what money comes. I'll not work for money. Then I have a certain amount which is my per month lifestyle income. I want this much amount, and if I get this much per month passive, sorted. Because I can't spend more than that. I'm not a person who would like to spend more than that. Anything coming above that is a reward for me. Once I map those numbers down, then I create a freedom plan. Without those, I can't. Most people try to create freedom plan without these.
Without the numbers, yeah.
Right? So if they come, I want to be free. I'm like, free. So you are a free man, like it's a democratic country, you are free. Like, no, free financially. I'm like, okay, what do you mean financially free? They can't explain. Oh, I want to travel the world. Cool. It takes 12,000 rupees to start traveling Bombay. Go. No. I should have a bank account balance and ghar, bangla, gaadi and a company running. I'm like, what company running? Which bangla, where? Which car you want? How much would be the EMI of the car? How much would be the property mortgage? Right? Multiple things are there. But you have not planned those. So you can't create a plan. So I know my number. Now once you know your number, it's your duty to get that number for your team. So my team have their numbers now. So I'm like, Suno team, the role of business is to get me freedom first. Because I started it, I took the risk, I did the mehnat. But you're also doing the mehnat. The moment I get free, it is chance for you to get free. So recently my team member bought a car. One of my team members bought a house, right? It's not only me now. It's about what are my leaders achieving. Because if they're achieving their goal, I'll achieve mine. Right? Now you create a hierarchy structures. So I have 3 companies. One is an agency. An agency now is run by a 19-20-year-old girl. Her name is Vaishali. She handles 170 closers who all work from home. And she came back to me 1 year back. It's like, how can this girl run? It's because of only one thing: systems, process, and templates. This podcast is a system. Because I didn't saw Lalith moving and doing the camera and then everything. Because Lalith has made a system of this. Listen, camera पे ये setting रहेगा, lights पे ये setting रहेगा. Do not move the lights 1 inch from there. This is the setup. This is this thing. Water should be there. Tissue should be there. Lalith has made a system of this. With the system, it comes a template. So right now, a videographer would be able to copy this template. But if you simplify to this level where a 5-year-old can copy, now it's very scalable. You can do a podcast in every city by multiple creators.
Makes sense.
Right? So once your template are made, now you can create a hierarchy, which is like, I would like this person with these many people, with these many people. When you're creating hierarchy in the start, I would just advise, go for a rule of 7. Rule of 7 is, you can have a contact with only 7 people, not more than that, because human capacity does not allow. So I have a contact with only 5 people. Now 200 people are there in my companies, right? 3 companies ko mila ke. So 200 are handled by these 5. So 5 may would not more than 7 of this person, 7 of this person. And that is how it distributes to 200 people.
Makes sense, man.
Right? And once that is done, now your only work is to let them get the challenge themselves. What we do is, we are smart. We think we are Elon Musk. A team member gets in problem, मैं करता हूँ, let me do it. If you do it, how will he get trained? My role is, when my CEO does a fuck up and the company goes into 2 lakh rupees ka loss, I sit there and I just ask the question, what do you think we should do? Not, I know the answer, but I'll not tell the answer. What do you think we should do? Bhaiya, sorry, इस बार loss हुआ है, you know, I'll pick this up this week. Blah, blah, blah. No, what we should do and why this happened. And now they'll put their brains, which will train them after 6 months to handle any problem, and I don't need to be in the business. Because they have the equity, profit share, everything. So it's their company technically. So I can get out. So hierarchy में incentive भी समझना पड़ता है कि ललित का incentive क्या है यार, मेरा incentive क्या है? Why should I work for him for the 10-year period? मेरा incentive नहीं तो मैं क्यों दूंगा? या ललित का incentive नहीं, why would he work with someone else? Right? So incentives मेरी टीम में बटे हुए हैं. They know कि we can be free in our life if Himanshu sir hits this goal. If he hits this goal, I'll hit this goal, and my goal is this only. So to make this goal happen, I need to focus on Himanshu sir's goal, and they know my goal. Now they hit only that, because I've said them, you touch this, I'll make you touch this. Khadam. Both get freedom, both are happy. Now the new generation would come, new leaders would come, new people would come. They handle the company, and now the upper medium again gets the freedom. Then the new set. So it's like a pure freedom creation machine kind of, where people get freedom one after the other.
I think by far the best answer I've gotten in the entire podcast is this one, because not is it just giving you insights, it's also challenging your previous mindset. Third, it's also breaking some barriers in terms of how and what people aspire to see in an entrepreneur. For example, when you start off as an entrepreneur, you do it only with an ego, right? Like, oh, my company, my thing, I want to be there, you have to be. Like, do that for 2.5 years and take it from a guy who's done that. You'll burn out. Second, there's another person who I've heard say this quote: when passion doesn't make profit, passion becomes poison.
Right, very correct.
Right. So, I think this was a great insight, and I'm sure the listeners and the viewers, listening and watching to this, should reflect if they ever want to do a business. They should definitely reflect on this one statement. Yeah. I think listening to your story, a lot of our listeners should also be inspired to take action, and they definitely must, check out your funnel. And if anybody wants to monetize, anybody wants to scale, I think you'd be the perfect individual for that, because you're not just saying it. You also you have proven results, and like you just mentioned, you have everything's transparent, and I must say this is just the beginning of something big, right? Because you're 23, you started 2.5 years ago. You haven't even hit the prime of your life, and that prime is going to come in 3, 4, 5 years. And I'm sure this should give a lot of youngsters enough proof of concept, validation that even they can do it, right? And I think your story for me is the summary of all of that. So man, Himanshu, it's been an honest pleasure to have known you and to have this conversation, and I'm looking forward for a lot of more life-changing, brain-turning conversations in the near future.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful coming on your podcast. I hope audience gets value. That is what I want at the end. And I have no links in the description. If you see my ads anywhere, click on them if you want to. If you don't want to, thank you so much for the value.
Yeah.